loving me, I loving you. Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life, won't live in the past. All I wanna do now is making it last.
It is time for a continuation of a conversation started. Welcome to Making It Last podcast. I'm your host, Noreen Daly. We're here in lockdown mode, so to speak. So we need to be reminded of how we need to remain connected to each other while we maintain social distancing. And the focus for this second aspect of our conversation would be our relationships. I'm Noreen Daly, and we continue the conversation with Latoya Minott, communication specialist, motivational speaker. Let's join the conversation.
As believers too, or as people who profess faith in God, many of us spend so much time using our talents and gifts and creativity to create and produce content for the secular world. But we have never targeted or channeled those talents and those gifts and those natural attributes to using it to our spiritual growth and our spiritual development. I remember when I started, I've started several Instagram pages, and as I've lost interest in whatever the content for those pages were, I had to shut them down and start something new. And I remember one of the things that I used to do, because as a professing Christian, you must at all points in time, and I do say at all points in time, infuse and integrate God into as many of the things that you are doing as is possible. And I don't say all, because it will not always lend itself all the time to everything that you're doing. And God does give us wisdom also. So we have to be able to utilize that wisdom that He has given us, and to be able to create that necessary balance to say that, you know, this is the Lord wanting me to do X or Y, or to mention Him in this. And just to know what setting is appropriate and what is right. And I remember I used to, you know, send out 1 minute or 2 minute thoughts on my Instagram page, just to say, you know, speak on particular issues, especially personal issues that I know many believers are struggling with. We have an issue of honesty in the church, and I'm sure that would be for another topic and another day. and you know, where honesty comes in as believers, sometimes there is safety in hiding, and I use hiding in quotation marks, because as children of God, we ought to be open and transparent. But what I mean by hiding behind social media is this, that you don't have the literal persons in your space looking at you. You can't see the eyeball them open up. When you sit before your page and you say, I want to share an experience with you this morning, and you open up honestly and you speak about how God has lifted. Yes, and I speak about how God has lifted you from that situation, and how God, you know, intervened when you did things and couldn't even intervene, and how you, the person in social media world or social media land, can benefit from this experience that I have shared. And you find that people will share what you have shared, and so you would have done your part as a child of God to help someone along, or to help someone, many someones along, and to do what the word says, as I said at the beginning of my statement, that you know, this concept of go ye into all the world has changed. So while me and you may never take a plane, Noreen, and go to, well, we're different because the nature of our jobs and whatever we do will give us the opportunity to be able to travel. But for those persons who may not have that opportunity more quite readily or so availably, it simply says to me, use what you have. The tools that are readily available to you. God has given you social media. And as you've rightly said, Noreen, when you commented that while we use it for the secular things and while we use it for the professional things, it is now a great way of emboldening ourselves. Those of us who kind of shy and we don't do the crowd thing very well, which takes selfies all the time, we video ourselves singing sometimes. Some people sit down in their cars and they sing. I saw that your music is on the radio.
No.
Like you song in your car, I'm singing
I do not. It's just a reminder that I don't sing often enough. But I'm gonna cut you right there because it's a nice segue into the other aspect of it that we want to cover. The whole idea that people must remain physically apart, but at the end of the day, for us to get through this crisis, we must find ways to remain connected to each other.
Right.
So as somebody who you as it is right now, you're working from home, but I am sure you're making sure that you stay connected, not just to those who are physically around you, but those who are, otherwise. What are you doing, and what advice would you want to give to others?
All right. For someone like me, Noreen, who is originally from Manchester and had to leave home to pursue work and so on, out of parish. I live several parishes, as you would have known, away from Manchester. I do not get to go home to visit my relatives as often as I would like to. So the first place that I have started since this lockdown is via the phone, the regular telephone call. That's one of the first things. And for those relatives that are far away, like my father and my brother who live overseas, and my other brothers who are not here also, we have tried to use the same social media platforms that we have available around us. So I may send a voice note, I may do a video call, I may even do a short video in my car or in my home and send it to them to say, listen, this is what is up. I am checking in on you. This is my word of encouragement for you today. What's going on with you? I want to know. Professionally, this lockdown has taught me quite a lot. Being a communications and public relations practitioner, it is taught in schools that, of course, you use these social media tools with some amount of versatility to assist in the promotion of the various job duties that we may be carrying out. It is not taught as the be-all and the end-all tool of the communications process or even the public relations or marketing process. But what I have found during this period of time is that for those of us in this particular field of PR, communications, marketing, anything along that particular line, I have found that this has created a new niche for us to be able to consistently be in touch with our clients and our customers, to consistently be in touch with not just family, but even on a global space, to be able to reach those individuals that sometimes we have limited ourselves to being able to reach. Working from home, what I have found now is that I have had to employ creative tools to keep traction on the page of the workplace that I am employed to. So one, I have had to identify what is our main message and what is it that, though COVID-19 is on everybody's lips, how can I infuse the message of the agency or the organization with what is going on? How can our voices be lent to this particular crisis that is taking place? And how can we still get the message out based on what it is that we actually do? And what I have found is the content of my job is not tasty, it's not exciting, it is not something that would grab an audience very quickly because I work in child protection. And so what I have found is I have had to be creating little tips now for parents. How do you keep your children safe, since children are our main targets and our clients? How do you keep these children safe? The predators are still at home. How do we protect our children from those who will also be on lockdown, that are the undesirables that we were trying to keep them away from in the first place? So how do we do that? So we have to find videos that still send into their psyche the message of, yes, while you're washing hands and while you are spraying on things to kill the germ and while we're sanitizing, at the same time, keep your eyes open because you need to know where your children are. Though social distancing is being practiced, some people, by virtue of their social space that they exist in, their homes, you live in a one, like a two-bedroom house, you live in a one-bedroom house, you live in a multi-family setting. Social distancing is not something that is going to be easily done. And you may not always find that there is the level of privacy that you would want to have at this particular point in time, because everybody they're home. And so how do you prevent certain discomforts from taking place? How do you keep children alert? How do you keep them smart and safe and protected in this particular period? So that has taught us that we cannot be completely dependent on just the physical things that we used to do before. But social media, now we're moving into a space, and for some people, some people are more religiously leaning towards particular prophecies in the Bible to say we're probably moving into the dispensation of the mark of the beast and so on. And so some people are still wary of becoming immersed into the technologies that exist out there, but at the same time, we can use these as very effective tools to translate our business from being dead to giving it some element of life, to get that body of persons that we were not able to get before, to stay in touch with our families that we would not have been able to stay in touch with before or on a consistent basis, and to really just use the tools, Noreen, and the technologies out there that exist to really, they're really there to enhance our way of life and to really just add more meaning and more substance to what we always were doing in the first place before.
As you're wrapping up, though, somebody's listening, because you started out saying that you're not able to visit home as you would like, and you have relatives overseas and you utilize the phone sending videos. For somebody who's listening and they're saying, well, Latoya, I am just accustomed, I put credit on the phone, on a regular basis to make sure that I still have service. But I'm just not into the long conversations and the long time. I don't think I have this long time to spend to stay connected with my people, wherever they are, whether locally or overseas. What would be your response to that?
I would say love and family are very critical at this point in time. And when I say love, I'm not necessarily speaking about man-woman relationship, but I'm speaking about love in its generic sense. That, now is a time when people are being asked to stay away socially, but now is a time when you need comfort and solace and just that human element more than any other time in our lives. Just to be reminded that, when you walk into a building and you have to be staying 3 feet away from someone, you don't want to become so inhumane after a while that, it becomes a practice that we avoid each other long after COVID has gone. Yes, you may not have time on your hands, but I think that if you love your relatives and they love you and the relationship is worth it, a text message is not something that is very time consuming. A short WhatsApp message, even if you're not a talker, you can send a picture message. There are lots of things that people send, these good morning messages with beautiful songs and flowers and the works. I personally don't like them, but if someone sends that to me, it says to me that you're thinking about me and I am in your thoughts, and I appreciate the fact that I'm in your thoughts. And I think it is also a period of time during which our Creator is just simply saying to us, listen, stop. A lot of you didn't, just stop. You've been too busy. You've just been moving like you're crazy. Stop and take stock of what is going on in your world. Take stock of what is going on around you. Pay attention to that flowers garden that you never see for quite a long time. You pass flowers and you didn't even know that your neighbor had so many flowers at the front of them yard. And you didn't even quite realize that, you drive past in your car all the time and you're so unconcerned, or you walk past and you want to take your taxi or your bus and your thoughts are wrapped around all the things that are happening. Now that we are home, I think we're all forced into a situation where we start to decide what is valuable from what is not. And when you look
go ahead, complete your thought.
No, I was going to say, and when you actually look at the things that people are positing in the public space at this point in time, you really realize that the family life had broken down. And it is now a time where I see parents panicking that their children are at home, and it shocks me, probably because I have so many children. I didn't realize that people felt that it was burdensome to have their children at home. Because I said to somebody today, then what happens during Easter when they get break, and what happens during summer? We've just been at home for a couple of days, and I see parents on Facebook saying, oh God, teachers, come back and come get these kids. And I'm saying to myself, I'm so happy for the time that I have at home now, that I can actually sit with my kids. I don't have to be running 5 o'clock to go catch the daycare before it closes, and then tear come to Old Harbor to catch the other child at the sitter, and then I'm running to chase my tail marine to see if I can rustle up something, and then because I don't want to put on too much weight, I decide that I'm not going to eat, and then there's this general practice of not taking care of ourselves and those around us. It's a time where we have slowed down. You can't cook a good meal now and eat your breakfast. You're not in a hurry. I eat lunch, I eat dinner, and pay attention to your nutrition and all the things that we didn't get to do. So it's a bad period, but it's a good one too.
It's a good one. We're going to end it right here, because one of the things that I said recently to somebody, I said, if nothing else, it has helped us to really look, I guess, realign our priorities, look to see what is really, what and who, really are the things that are really important in our lives. Because a lot of us, myself included, because that's exactly, I'm very intense. I hold myself to very high standards. And because of that, I'm just going. And this is giving me an opportunity to just kind of just slow down, take it easy. I am still getting the work done, but I'm just doing it at a nice, steady, slow pace. Thank you so much, Latoya.
Pleasure is mine.
Yeah, thank you. Well, this was Make It Last podcast. It's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, but with other people. I'm Noreen Daly. Until next time.
Making it last is all I care to do. You loving me, I loving you. Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life, won't live in the past. All I wanna do now is making it last.